guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. This will be my first time doing this on YouTube. I'm really excited to kind of be able to participate in this trend this year. If you like it, let me know. I really just like talking about books. I would love to talk more about them in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video. It really does help out the channel. And I think we're just going to get started. So first things first, let's talk about like my book goals for the year. I really wanted to try and control my book spending, and I feel like I've been doing really well this year. I did one book haul and then I have bought a few books here and there, but I have read 48 books currently, and I set my Goodreads goal to 50 for 2024. And the reason why I did that is because in 2023 I pretty much slumped out for like the entire year. Reading has always been a very big part of my life, but it wasn't until probably my trade show season, when I was listening to a lot of audiobooks for work, that I really started making progress on my reading goal. I wanted to read like 80 books in 2023 and I read 39, which is fine. I wanted to read more and consume more fun stories in the year of 2024, and I feel like I'm doing that pretty well. I think I might bump my reading goal up to like 80 books and see where I'm at. I just don't want to shoot too high and then like stress myself out about it. But I do think within like the next 6 months, reading another, 32 books. So let's hop into the questions. So the first question is, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? And I really did have a tough time figuring that one out, but I did settle on Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. This is a dystopian novel that is just amazing. I loved this entire series. The series is called The Mad Adam. It's like the Mad Adam series. But really nothing hit quite like that first book. I think it was like a perfect adult dystopian novel, in my opinion. It has a lot of critiques of like capitalism and society at large, and I honestly wish I could read it again for the first time. The best sequel I've read so far is Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. I hadn't read like a ton of sequels, so this was kind of one of the only contenders, but also this book just got me. I just loved it so much, and I loved the character growth, particularly on like BJ's part, because a lot of my gripes with the first Magnolia Parks book is because BJ is kind of just a shit, and he's just like fine with that, which like that's fine, but like how are you gonna get the girl being like that? A brother, how are you gonna get the girl being like that? But I felt like The Long Way Home was really good, and I'm excited to get into the Dark, but I'm currently reading Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, so it's not like I have to get through this book, because I loved Daisy Hates too. Like, I thought it was better than Magnolia Parks, and like I just binged 100 pages of this last night, and like I'm excited to get into it again. Like these books are like a gift. Like, I had to stop myself from reading this right after I finished The Long Way Home, because I was like, if I do this too quickly, I'm gonna be sad when it's done. And I really do think, Into the Dark is 720 pages. I really do think that I'm gonna have a book hangover after that, and I'm not ready, but I am ready. But best sequel has definitely been The Long Way Home, and gosh, was it a long way home. So, question number 3, a new release you want to read but haven't. For this one, I put Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I have seen this one around on Goodreads. I really like all of Ali Hazelwood's works. Bride wasn't for me, but that I would definitely try another one of her Omegaverse novels. It just, if like the romance was like a little bit better, honestly. I just felt like Bride wasn't a romance novel, if I'm being super honest. I felt like it was a mystery. And then I'm skipping question 4, which is like books, like your most anticipated releases for the rest of the year. I just like don't really follow new releases all that much. I always kind of tend to be a few years behind things. That's just kind of how I am. I don't keep up on things. I love watching like booktube content and like seeing all these people like reading all these really good books, but I'll be like, oh, I want to like read this book, and then I won't read it for a couple years because I have my own physical TBR that's just like not completely comprised of like book talk books, which is like fine for them, that's fine for me, that's what works. I just don't follow new releases all that often, but I did know that I wanted to read Not in Love. I've been patiently waiting for that one. Honestly, that is like that was when I'm just really excited to read that one. My biggest disappointment. And boy, did this book disappoint me. This is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. A lot of people talk about how this book is like a more realistic Handmaid's Tale, which that's not what it is at all. I think that this is almost like it's like a Christian dystopian almost. That's not the genre that it is, but that's how it came off to me. So it's kind of like Oryx and Crake in that there are like compounds and stuff where people live, but they are based around like, some of them are based around religious communities, some of them are based around jobs. And our main character, we start following her journal entries as she's like a young girl, and she like hates the church that her parents are a part of, just thinks that it's all this stuff, which, you know, if you have religious trauma, if you know, you know. But my problem is that I felt like there was a lot of almost unnecessary violence in this book. Like, I know that the world is a violent place, and I'm not like disillusioned into thinking it's just this happy-go-lucky rainbows, butterflies, and that's what a dystopian world is. But like, I thought that it was like almost unnecessary. And then towards the end of the book, I just thought that our characters had a lot of plot armor. And I just like didn't quite understand what the point was, because it felt like there was never any really consequences for things. And then our main character basically like created a cult. Like, she doesn't like Christianity and what she grew up in, but then she creates something that is absolutely based on Christianity. And I know that it's a whole series. Maybe if I want to, like, read books that I don't think I'll like, I would, like, finish the series, but, like, it just felt so not worth it. Yeah, I was so disappointed in that one. So, next question, biggest surprise. I really tried not to repeat books, but when I do like books, I fell in love with Oryx and Crake. Like, that was probably my biggest surprise for me. I have had that book on my TBR for so long. So I actually checked out The Year of the Flood, which is the second book from the library, and I didn't realize that it was the second book in a series, and I was so confused. It just was horrible. I was so confused. And so I, obviously returned it to the library, and I was like, what is going on? So I checked Goodreads. Oh, silly goose. Like, that's the second book in a series. So I bought Oryx and Crake secondhand like years ago, and I had every intention of reading it, and I just didn't. And I don't remember what really pulled me to it. I think it's the fact that they were available on Libby, because I listened to them all in audiobook. Audiobooks are great, by the way. I also was really impressed by the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I know that there's 5 books. I liked 4 of the 5. I really did not like Hopeless, which is Beau's book. but I don't need to talk about that. Going back to like Oryx and Crake, I think that like the perfect dystopian cocktail is like reading the Mad Adam series, so like starting with Oryx and Crake and also reading like The Handmaid's Tale, because I think that both are very real. They're like almost too real. New favorite author. So I put down two. So I put down Junji Ito, who wrote Uzumaki. That is a Japanese manga, graphic novel, what have you, whatever you want to call it, about a town that is inhabited by spirals, like infested with spirals. And then Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who wrote the Inheritance Games and the Natural series. So those were my two new favorite authors. I should also throw Elsie Silver in there. I really liked her stuff too. New fictional crush was Theo from Reckless by Elsie Silver. It is another Chestnut Springs book. He just, my man just stepped up, and really, I'm gonna be so honest, I don't really get like fictional crushes, or, you know, like I'll swoon in a romance book. Oh, I'm so easy to swoon, but like I don't think about a lot of them after I finish the book. Like I'll think about the books, but I don't think about like the characters and stuff. So like when people are like, oh, my fictional boyfriend, I'm like, that is great that other people do that. I'm just not that way, really. I never have been. But Theo from Reckless, really, like, I need a man like that. Because, like, I feel like I'm kind of a Winter type. If there's one thing I love, it's, like, a bitchy older sister. Like, Nesta from A Court of Silver Flames, Winter, like, it's just something about him, man. My new favorite character, I kind of racked my brain for this, but I think it's Celaena Sardathian from Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I know that some people will talk about how Celaena is like, oh, she like thinks she's the best one minute and then she's insecure the next. I'm like, is that not just being a girl though? She's just a girl. That's kind of how I feel about it. Also, can we talk about how it's Kale and not Shaol? That's a tangent that I can get into another day. But I really like Celaena. I think that she's dynamic. She's resilient. I think that she's brave. And I really like her mantra, like, I am Celaena Sardathian, I will not be afraid. I think that that is a really good thesis, at least for like the 3 books that I've read. So I've read Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, and then Crown of Midnight. And I only have around 30 pages into Heir of Fire. I wouldn't exactly categorize that as like I'm actively reading it right now. Like I'm actively reading other books. But I really think I like Celaena Sardathian. I think I like her because she feels a lot more active as a character than, say, Feyre from A Court of Thorns and Roses, which might be kind of a controversial opinion, but it is just mine, and that's how I feel right now. I'm not even done with the series. I have read all of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like, I'm completely caught up on that series. So, that's just how I feel. Next question is a book that made me cry. The Lovely War by Julie Berry. Oh my goodness. I just finished this book a couple days ago. I cried multiple times throughout that book. It was amazing and funny and witty and so smart, and I listened to it on audiobook. The audiobook is amazing. It's a full cast of characters and even has like some original like scoring underneath it in certain parts. And I also listened to all of the author's notes, which is the entire 30 minutes after the book has finished. There clearly was just like so much love poured into this book. You could feel it I could just feel it. Oh, it was amazing. So The Lovely War is a love story that's told by Aphrodite. And the book starts out with these 2 people that are clearly going to go to a hotel room and have the hanky-panky. These 2 people get into the hotel room, lights come on, it's Hephaestus. And he's like, Aphrodite, wife, what are you doing with my brother Ares? And she's like, Uh, there's a war going on, so, because, like, love and war, you know, they go together, you know? And so then she starts telling this love story, and then, you know, we call in other gods, and it was so good. Like, it truly, I think that and Oryx and Crake are very much kind of tied for the best book that I've read so far this year. Books that made me happy. So I put down an entire series. I said The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. They just made me like so happy. I thought that the act of like reading these books was such a breath of fresh air. I don't normally like mysteries or things that like where I don't have all the information, and it's interesting because like a lot of books like hinge on a bit of mystery because they can't tell you everything right away or else, you know, what's the point. But like these were actual like mystery books, and I loved them. I'm excited to see what Jennifer Lynn Barnes does next. I did read the first like Naturals book. I want to read the rest of that series. And so some TBR books for the rest of the year. I want to finish the Throne of Glass series. So I have Heir of Fire, and then I also have Queen of Shadows, I think. And those are both pretty thick books, and I'm sure I will buy the rest of them because like after Queen of Shadows, that tandem read. But I do want to finish that series this year. I want to finish the Magnolia Park series, or at least get caught up, because I think there's gonna be, I don't know how many more, but I know there's at least gonna be one more Daisy Hates book, I think. So I want to get caught up and read like Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I really want to get into the Boys of Tommen series. I bought Binding 13 the other day, and I've just heard like so many things about this like book series, and then I know that I think it's called Taming 7 is the new one that's out. So I do think that that would be a really good series for me to get into kind of after Magnolia Parks, because I think it's going to give the same vibes. If it doesn't, let me know down below, but like I know that it's YA, I know that they're like in high school and blah blah blah, but like I just need the drama, and like the thing about that I love about Magnolia Parks is how melodramatic it is. It was explained to me as like Gossip Girl in England or whatever, like these socialites, and so like that's what I need. I just need the melodrama, like the intensity of like a Vampire Diaries, you know what I mean? And I also want to read the rest of the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. I read The Lost Hero this past month and I thought it was so good, just such a fun book. I've really gotten into, you know, reading more middle grade and YA this year. I mean, I've always been like a pretty avid YA reader, but I don't know, something about this year has just been my year of YA, I guess. So I came up with my own question, and it's new book habits that I've picked up. And so there were like two big things that I've like noticed about myself. So as I just said, it's like my year of YA. I have not been reading a whole lot of romances, and the romances I have been reading have been, I mean, Chestnut Spring series, those are not clean romances. They got some smut to them. And don't get me wrong, it's like good, but I definitely found myself like skipping over those parts more. I'm not as into like super smutty, sexy books right now, and I don't think that's good or bad. It's just like, as I was going through this, I just was like noticing that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because like I was really into books like the Twisted series by Anna Huang, more of those like smutty books, I guess, and I'm just like not anymore. Maybe it's just because like I have no romantic interests right now in my own everyday life, which, you know, some people it draws them more towards romances. For me, I guess I'm just drawn away from them right now, and that's just the stage of life I'm in. One thing I've also noticed about myself is I have been annotating and tabbing my books. It's not that I never used to do that, just because I just didn't want to. I just read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and that book really, really, I tabbed and annotated a lot. And there was this one line that Sejanus says at pretty beginning of the book. where Coriolanus and him are talking about, like, oh, well, Sejanus, like, your family's so rich, why don't you do something good on it? Like, you're kind of blameless and all this. And Sejanus goes, I'm so blameless that I'm choking on it. Or that, like, I'm drowning in it. And I don't know why, that just felt, like, so impactful to me. I just really liked that. I also highlighted quite a bit in The Long Way Home. Not a ton, but a little bit. And I just have really been, like, enjoying that, I guess, and it's been really fun. I never have been one to, like, keep my books in pristine condition, so it's surprising to me that it has taken me so long to kind of get into that more. Because I'm someone who loves the look of a worn book. Like, I am a huge secondhand book shopper. There just aren't really secondhand shops out here. Like in Minnesota where I'm from, like Half Price Books is a really big thing. So like I'll buy secondhand books from there, or you know, there's just more thrift stores where, you know, there are more opportunities to find different books. Wow, that was so much fun. Okay, yeah, so that's all the questions for the mid-year book freakout tag. Thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below what books that you're wanting to read for the rest of this year. And subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I would love to make more bookish content. And give the video a like, it really does help in the algorithm. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!